Hi Sagittarius, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your March 2021 love reading. Thanks to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more details there. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, this is what I call the bridging the gap spread. And the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right represent their energy toward the connection. We'll look at the past energies, present energies, future energies. Once we get through all those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the cards on the left, we have the Lover's Path Tarot, and on the right side, we have the Tarot Sexual Magic. And also keep in mind, it's a general reading, so I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy and the cards on the right as the other person's. If you feel like it's the other way around, then definitely trust that. All right, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started. Past energy on your side, we have the Ace of Coins. So this is the equivalent to the Ace of Pentacles, and I could really see this playing out two different ways. For one, it could just be saying that you might have saw a lot of potential in the connection. Whether or not you acted on it is a different story. But for others of you, it could just be saying that you might have had your walls up because you were really just more focused primarily on your finances and career. So I could really see that going either way there. I will say with either of those scenarios, I do feel like this is saying that really you probably weren't expressive as far as any feelings toward this person in the connection. All right, past energy on their side, we have the Ace of Chalices, which is the Ace of Cups, and the Stars, which is the major arcana card for Aquarius. So interesting. Could just be saying that possibly during Aquarius season, which we just had recently, could just be saying that they might have actually expressed interest toward you and wanting to get to know you better. Obviously, it looks like there was a lot of love and passion behind that, if that was the case. And for others of you, could just be saying that they really just look at you as like a wish fulfillment, you know what I mean? So they really put you in a high regard in that aspect. Like I said, it looks like maybe you guys aren't necessarily communicating, even if you do see the potential as well, but it looks like at the very least that you might have viewed it in slightly different ways, you know, where this person could have a much more loving, passionate view toward the connection, whereas you might have a more practical view toward the connection. Present energy on your side, we have the Nine of Arrows in reverse. So this is actually Gemini energy here, and usually this is an energy of being stuck in your head, you know, possibly losing sleep over a situation, you know, not being sure what to communicate or what moves to make toward the connection. So if this coming up in reverse, I see that as a bit more of a positive, where it could just be saying that you're getting out of your heads around the situation, feeling like you have more clarity around what to do regarding the situation as well. And given that this is Gemini energy, I should point out too that Mars will be moving into Gemini early in March. So that could be part of where your focus might shift towards relationships as well due to that reason. But it's interesting if we think about the fact that, you know, in reverse, those arrows are pointing away from the cards on that side, but then the one that it looks like that angelic figure is presenting to her would be pointing actually back toward that. So it could just be saying that in your dream world, you might actually get some signs and synchronicities that point to you actually communicating to this person. All right, present energy on their side, we have the Chariot, which is the major arcana card for Cancer, and the Four of Swords, which is Libra energy. So both cardinal energies here, but really with this, I could see this saying a couple different things. For some of you, could just be saying that they're actually, you know, going to come toward you again and be persistent toward actually trying to get something off the ground with you. But underneath it all, it could just be saying that, you know, they're still, especially if you might have been a bit more cold toward them, you know, it could just be saying that they're still not fully healed from that, you know, there might have been some disappointment there if they did approach you in the past and it didn't go the way they were expecting. And for others of you too, another way it could be playing out could be saying that even if you see them as very confident on the exterior, it could just be saying with that Four of Swords that they might have had their doubts around the situation as well. So, you know, if you're looking at it like, well, why does this person seem so sure of the situation, whereas I'm, you know, over here driving myself crazy as to whether or not we should do this or not, could just be saying that they might have had their doubts as well, but it looks like they just might be a little bit further ahead as far as putting those doubts behind them compared to you. All right, and in the future position on your side, we have the Seven of Cups, which is Scorpio energy, Grace, which is the equivalent of the Star card, which is Aquarius energy, and Prince of Coins, which is the equivalent of the Knight of Pentacles, which is Virgo energy. So with this, could just be saying that again, even though it looks like you're coming out of that in the present, could just be saying in the future position, you might still feel like you're a bit stuck in your head around what to do with the situation. But if that's the case with the Star card coming up here, this looks like it's saying that, spiritually you will be guided in the right direction. And it always stands out to me that, like, it looks like they're pulling her out of that fire, So it's saying that, even if you are just getting really caught up and stuck in your head around what to do around the situation, it looks like you'll be guided in the right direction one way or the other. Now, given for you guys that Aquarius energy does represent your third house communication, it might just be one of those things that comes across through a conversation where you might have that epiphany, So even if it's not directly speaking with that person, you might just be casually talking to someone, possibly even to something completely unrelated, but then that exact message you needed to hear might come through, and then that'll actually give you the answer you need regarding what to do with the situation. And with the Prince of Coins, it looks like this is saying that for a lot of you, you might actually end up coming toward this person and making an offer toward them. Here with that Ace of Coins energy, like I was talking about, one thing that stands out is it looks like it's a bit of a guarded energy, right? Like a gate closed. And then here we see, obviously, he's holding that pentacle now and coming forward. So could just be saying that you guys are going to decide to open up a little bit. It might still take you a while, though, because I will say, if we look at the trees there, it looks like there's not a lot of life on them, right? So it could just, to me, represent the passage of time. So it might not be an immediate thing for you guys, but looks like you might come forward toward them. And for RZ, that could just be saying that, you might have that focus on career still, but with that Prince of Coins, could just be saying that you might start to see some tangible successes from that, and then that might be what helps you open up to other areas as well, if you're just very focused on a specific goal there. And the future position on their side, we have the Fool. So to me, this represents that they're definitely ready for a fresh start. So it looks like you guys might get on the same page. Now, for a small percentage of you, I will say that this might represent that if you do decide that, or you do really just get caught up in your head for too long and there's no communication, this person might actually decide to start elsewhere, given that they are walking away from the cards on this side. But I feel that would be for a smaller percentage of you. I feel like this is just saying that whatever baggage they may have had as well, given that we did see that Four of Swords there, to me this represents that they're putting that behind them. They're packing light and they're ready to move, so getting rid of some emotional baggage that they might have had as well. All right, bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Four of Cups. So this is actually Cancer energy. And the main vibe with Four of Cups in almost every tarot deck you can imagine is there's that vibe of disappointment, right? Like if we look at her, she's kind of staring off in the distance. She has those four cups around her, and doesn't really necessarily seem satisfied, right? So could just be saying that that's the dynamic you guys have been in, where maybe while creating some distance within this connection, you might have actually been getting attention from others and maybe felt like, one of those things where it helped you appreciate this person a little bit more. And interestingly enough, we see more Cancer energy underneath that as well. So, and if we look at her body language, she definitely seems a lot more open and looking toward the cards on that side. So yeah, like I said, for some of you, this could just, the main thing is it might take you a while to get there. That's kind of the energy I'm picking up on, but it looks like eventually you will actually warm up toward the connection. And bottom of the deck on their side, we have the King of Swords. So more Aquarius energy here. So some of you could definitely be dealing with an Aquarius, given that we've seen a few Aquarius energies pop up in this spread, but could just be saying that they're presenting a bit more of a detached vibe as well. But there's the willingness to communicate, I feel, as well, because again, like I said, for you guys, Aquarius is your third house of communication. So could just be saying that, they might, and for some of you that could even be what the Fool card represents as well, where they might, express themselves toward you, let you know how they feel, and then kind of look at it like the ball's in your court, so they won't necessarily pressure you if you, don't respond right away, but they might feel like, all right, well, I did all I could here. I'm going to leave it into maybe Fate's hands, right? Or leave it in Sagittarius's hands, balls in their court, and kind of leave it at that. All right, so moving on to the Oracle cards. First, we have the Aqua Moonlight deck here, and I did pre-shuffle this deck, but what we're going to be looking for is just some jumpers. So first, I'll be looking for unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. If I shuffle for a while without anything coming up, I'll just move on to the next Oracle deck, but sometimes we get additional messages here. So we'll see if we get anything. All right, nothing there. So next we'll see if we get any from them to you. All right, nothing there either. So we'll move on to the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And same situation here. I did pre-shuffle this deck, but here we'll just be looking for one card, and we'll wrap up. All right, let me put the deck down, and let me tune in for a few seconds, and we'll actually just pull a card. All right, we'll go right here. Okay, we have a leg up. There's the artwork, and the number is 34. Okay, it says receiving help, delegating authority, interdependence. The Oracle's message. You've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all the areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. So, pretty supportive message there. And I will say, the energy I was picking up on with that, the star card, or grace as it's called in this deck in the future, like I said, definitely watch out for that too, where you might just be having a casual conversation with someone and you might end up hearing exactly the message you needed to hear. That would help you figure out what to do in the situation. So, hopefully that resonated. The relationship message says relationships that are healthy thrive on interdependence. It's important to recognize that you need others as much as they need you. You must allow people to support you just as you are there for them. This is a time to be vulnerable, to speak up about your needs, and to ask for them to be fulfilled. Trust. You will be met with kindness and love. Don't expect others to read your mind, though. Ask and it is given. So another interesting message there. And again, to go back to the Aquarius energy, it is also worth pointing out that we did just have a Mercury retrograde in your third house communication. So that could have been part of it too, or maybe you felt like you were being misunderstood. So if that's the case, Mercury's still in its shadow right now, but it's eventually going to get out of that around mid-March. So if anything else, if you feel like you need a little bit more time until you are ready to communicate around whatever the situation is, around the middle of March, you'll probably start to feel a bit more comfortable and confident with that. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.